This is the all-new 2018 Kia Stinger GT2 with all-wheel drive, and this particular one is coated in ceramic silver, and it's a pretty interesting looking color, but I sort of dig it. Anyways, let's get up close and personal with the all-new Stinger GT. So starting off on the outside, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm by a pretty busy road, Rockville Pike, one of the busiest in Maryland. Anyways, I really love how the Stinger GTs look. It's like ever since they first came out, the rear end was sort of a thing I had to get used to, but it really grew on me, the whole car. Anyways, like I said earlier, this particular exterior color is called ceramic silver, and it's an interesting looking color. I prefer the red or the blue or the white that's offered for the Stinger GT because I just think it looks a lot sportier, but this one is a more discreet looking color. But anyways, looking at the headlights, you have full LED headlights. They look really nice, like especially with the LED daytime running light and LED low beams and high beams and turn signals. I really like the 3D effect, if you can see that, of like just everything. It really looks nice. Kia's done a really good job with this car. Then of course there's the tiger nose grille, and right here is the radar sensor for your adaptive cruise control and stuff like that. But this is more of a like blackish chrome. A darkened chrome. It looks sort of bronze or some color in that sort of family, but it looks all right. I'm not really that much of a fan of it. I'd rather have it all black instead of a chromish looking color. But anyways, there's a better shot of the turn signal right there. Looks really nice. I really like what they did with the headlights. These are like one of my favorite headlights out there. Anyways, coming around the side, the Stinger has 19-inch alloy wheels wrapped around Michelin Pilot Sports. Anyways, I really like the design of these wheels, and of course you have Brembo brakes, especially since this is the GT2 package. So let's come along the side, and right here you have more of that black chrome on the mirrors with LED turn signal indicators on the sides, and they're also power folding, auto dimming, and heated, so that's a nice touch. This one also has the panoramic moonroof, so that's a nice touch. I really like how that looks. I wish that there was an all black roof option. That would look really hot. But anyways, coming on the back, this is where the Stinger really looks very different to its competitors, and I like it a lot. This sort of wraparound taillight thing looked really weird in person, well, in pictures actually, at first when it first came out, but it's sort of grown on me. But these full LED taillights look really good on this model. The base models come with regular incandescent bulbs for, I believe, the reverse and turn signals, but these are full LEDs, as you can see on the right side, the LED turn signal. But I really like this wraparound tail light assembly. I don't know what else to call it, but it looks really good. And as you can see down there, you have the quad exhaust tips, which I bet it sounds really good. We'll hear that later in the video. Overall, I really like the design of the Stinger GT, and especially it looks more like a sedan, but it's actually a hatchback or a liftback, as you'd call it. We'll check that out later in the video. Anyways, let's check on the inside and see how all that stuff does. So, here's the key fob for the Stinger. I really like the design of it. It's an interesting look. The buttons are on the side, and on one side, there's the lock button up top right there. Then there's the unlock, trunk release, and panic button, because you do have a power hatch. Anyways, it does have a smart key system, so you could just walk up to the car with the key in your pocket or your purse. And there's no touch-sensitive pad behind the handle, so you have to click the button once to unlock it. The mirrors will automatically fold out or fold in if you have that setting on, or to lock it, just press and click the button again. But anyways, this particular model has a red and black leather interior. I'm a fan of red interiors, and I like what Kia's done because they didn't over-red, if that's even a word. They didn't over-red this interior because I love the black accenting all over the seats and just anywhere in the car. Anyways, looking at the door panel, this is all soft to the touch material here, of course. For the armrest, the side of the door, it's a very nice looking rich red too, with some stitching here. This model does have the Harman Kardon audio system, which sounds really good. You have 2-person memory for your driver's seat and the mirrors and the steering wheel, because you do have a power adjustable steering wheel. Anyways, there are your mirror controls. They are power folding. There's your window locks, door locks, and your window controls. All 4 windows are automatic. And you have a bottle holder right here and a little storage compartment down there. So, inside of the Stinger, you have 14-way power adjustable seats, and that does include a thigh extension. That's really nice. I don't usually see that often in sort of mass-produced cars, but the seats are really nice in this car. They hug me really well, and they're really supportive. The headrest is really soft too. You could just keep your head back there and you're like golden. But anyways, now inside, when you close the door, you have a really nice solid thunk, which sounds really good. You really feel the high level of quality that Kia put into this car. Anyways, like any other car with push button start, you just put your foot on the brake and press the start button to go. At first, the start button is a little bit hard to find because it's sort of behind the steering wheel. I thought it was like somewhere in the middle of the car. I know that was like a brain fart or something, but let's start her up. Has a really fast startup. Like I said before, I really love what Kia did to this interior. It looks really upscale, and you can definitely feel the amount of time and effort Kia put into this car so people would actually like it. Since this is a GT model, you do have a flat bottom steering wheel, which is 3-spoked and leather wrapped. The steering feel is actually pretty nice. We'll talk about that later in the video. Looking at the wheel, on the left side you have your audio and Bluetooth controls. So there's the voice control button, the mode, which is like a source button, volume up down, and if you click it in, it's a mute button. There's your channel selection, Bluetooth phone to pick up and hang up, and over on the right you have your menu button, which changes the information screen in the center of the gauges. I'll go over that in a second. And this one also controls that same screen. These are the cruise control settings to turn it on, set, resume, cancel, and this is the adaptive cruise control button. Anyways, looking at the gauges, they look really nice. I love the font of it, actually. I don't usually talk about the font in some cars, but it looks really good. Anyways, you have the tach on the left with your temperature gauge inside of that. Then you have your center display in the middle. Then you have your speedometer that goes up to 180 on the right, and your fuel gauge in the middle of that. Anyways, looking at the screen, like I said, you control it with these buttons over here. So right now we're looking at just more different gauges, so you could see the boost gauge, torque, and oil temperature, so that's really handy. And if you scroll down, you have your lap timer. Right here is just general information like fuel economy, drive information. You have a digital speedometer, and it just shows the drive modes right here. Right there's the compass, there's your driver attention monitors and stuff like that, and your different settings. Behind the wheel, you have your light controls right here. They are automatic. And on the right, you have your wiper controls, which are also automatic. So those are really nice. And you have paddle shifters on either side of the wheel, which are attached to the wheel. You have your brightness for the gauges. You have your lane departure warning and your lane keep assist. There's the blind spot information button, trunk release, and fuel release. And the hood release is down near my foot. And right here is where you'd actually pull for the fuse box. Anyways, the whole dash is all soft to the touch, which feels really nice. I really love what Kia did. Up here you have an 8-inch touchscreen display that uses Kia's UVO system. It sort of looks like it would retract down, but it doesn't because the vents are right there. Anyways, it's really easy to use, and it's pretty quick to use too. There's the map right there. You can slide around it like that. I sort of wish that there was like a control knob like other cars, so you don't have to keep touching this, but I do like that Kia used a matte finish on the screen so it wouldn't show fingerprints or that much dust. Down here you have a bunch of different shortcut buttons, so if you hit radio, the sound system sounds really good. I don't exactly know the the exact specs of it, but just from my personal experience, it sounds really nice, and you really feel the bass and everything to it. And there's a bunch of speakers everywhere in this car. Anyways, media, that's like if you have your phone plugged in or something like that. You do have standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that would plug in down there. There's the track forward and backward buttons right there. There's your hazard button. There's the SD card slot for the map, so the navigation system is SD based. Anyways, there's the map button navigation, which just has your different navigation options, and you just touch the screen to get everywhere. It's a very nice system to use, and it's not that hard. Right here is an extra button, so you could turn that into a function button, into any of these buttons right here. But over here is just the setup button, which is basically your vehicle settings. Right here is the volume and power knob, and this is your tuning knob. Down here you have dual zone climate control for the driver and passenger. There are the controls right there for that. The controls feel really nice, all the buttons too. There's nothing that really feels cheap in this car. Anyways, right here you have a little center cubby that you could put maybe a small phone in there. You have a 12-volt power outlet right there, a USB port that charges, and a USB port for CarPlay, and an aux jack, and you can just hide all that stuff away there. Behind that is your transmission selector. So on this one, you do have an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is electrically controlled with this joystick, and you'll only see this particular style on the GT models. With the armrest right here, you could just keep your hand right there, and it's really nicely located because you could just rest your hand here and then shift it like into drive or into reverse. And when you put the car into reverse, you have a backup camera and parking sensors, and the guidance lines do steer with the wheel, and then you just push it for park right there. So that's really, it's not that hard and it's not that complicated, so that's really nice. You also have an electronic parking brake behind that. Then you have auto brake hold. There's your drive mode select. So going into that right now in smart, it'll also show up on the screen right there, but there's smart, eco, comfort, sport, and custom. I'm not sure what custom does. You have heated and ventilated driver and passenger side seats. They're the controls right there. It's really nice feeling buttons. You also have a heated steering wheel, which heats up really fast, and it's really effective. Over here you have your parking sensors button. This button turns off auto start stop, and there's your passenger seat controls for the heat or ventilation. In the center console, first you have a nice soft center armrest. Your phone can't really fit there, but you just open it like that. It's sort of shallow, but that's sort of to be expected for an all-wheel drive car like this, or a rear-wheel drive based car. But you have a little place to put your phone or your keys or anything down there. It is felt lined right here, and you do have a removable tray right there, so that's pretty nice. Looking at the glove box, it is damped and felt lined, and it's actually pretty decently sized, so that's nice. You could fit an iPad, so that's pretty good. And up here you have an auto dimming rearview mirror, and you also have garage home link on that, and a compass right there. Up here you have a place to put your glasses. You have LED lighting all over the car, and right here is your sunroof control. And it pops out, so it's actually pretty big. It's not panoramic, but it is a pretty large glass roof. Oh, it also has a power sunshade. You have a heads-up display. I don't know if you could see that, but it's nicely in your field of vision. And you know, it works like any other heads-up display, so it shows different information like your speedometer and different information like that. Now, talking about visibility in this car, out of the back window, it's horrible. I just have to be honest, you can't really see out of there, but you do have the backup camera, so sort of fixes the problem for that. But if you're just regularly driving, it shouldn't be too bad, but if you're reversing, that's where the problem would be. Anyways, other visibility besides that, the C-pillar might be a little bit of a problem, but you do have the blind spot monitor, so that would help as well. Coming to the rear seats, looking at the rear door panel, you have more of those speaker grills right there for the Harman Kardon audio system, and you have more of that soft touch material on the side, armrest, and the top part of the door, and you have another bottle holder and some storage down there. But the rear seats are just as nice looking as the front seats. They are also perforated but not heated or cooled. They do fold down with this latch right here. It's a 60-40 split, so you can have a lot of storage space in the back of this car. This seat is all the way back in its tracks, and I have about 2 or 3 inches of legroom, and I'm about 5'8", 5'9". So legroom is actually pretty nice. My feet also do fit under the seat, sort of snug, but they do fit. I wouldn't really put a middle passenger in this because of the center hump for the transmission. It's just really large and just tall. But right here, you do have 2 really nice feeling air vents in the back, but I wouldn't really call this a third zone because you can only change if you want colder or hotter air in the back, so there's no actual temperature gauge or whatever like that. But you do have a USB port right here, which is nice, and a power outlet. It's a nice touch that they did that. You have 2 map pockets right here on the back. I wish that they were another material that wasn't like a netting, because the netting looks sort of cheap, like an afterthought. But if I sit all the way back, my head does touch. Like, I don't really have that much space. So headroom is a little bit of an issue if you're sitting up straight. But if you lean back, my head still touches. I can't really go easy on it, but my head does touch. You have more LED lighting, which is very nice. It's a nice touch that Kia put LED lights inside of this car. Looking at the center armrest, there's no pass-through, especially because the seats fold. But you have 2 cup holders here, and the armrest is actually sort of on the hard side, but not uncomfortable. So in the back of the Stinger, you can either open the trunk by pressing and holding the button on the dash, pressing and holding the button on the key fob, or just clicking the button right here. And like I said, it is a power tailgate. Oh, it actually opens pretty quickly. There's the button to close it. But behind the rear seats, folded up, you have 23 cubic feet of volume. That's actually pretty big. It actually has a pretty big trunk. And you can actually remove this cargo cover so you can have more if you want to put, I don't know what you'd put in here. Bodies, I don't know. But when you fold the second row down, well, when you fold the rear seats down, it's a 60-40 split like I said before, you have around 117 cubic feet of volume. That's actually pretty big, and I've heard it's around the same region of some compact SUVs, and maybe even bigger than a lot of subcompact SUVs like the Honda HR-V and stuff like that. But anyways, under this cargo cover, you have a spare tire underneath. It's a donut. Well, it looks to be a donut, but you have all your tools and stuff down there, so that's really nice that Kia didn't put a can of Fix-A-Flat and just left you stranded like some other cars. But to close it, it does beep. Surprised you don't have a rear wiper. I like rear wipers. I'm sort of a rear wiper type of person, like Nick Murray or some other people. Anyways, let's check out what's under the hood of the Stinger GT. So under the hood of the Stinger GT, you're going to find a 3.3 liter twin turbocharged V6, which is also direct injection. So that makes 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. Now this thing goes to 60 miles an hour in about 4.5 seconds, just over that. That's wicked fast. Well, for this size of car, I think that's pretty respectable, especially compared to its competitors. That's really good, I think. And definitely compared to its competitors like the 340i BMW and the C400, I believe. That's really good. And other sports sedans in its class. Anyways, you should be expecting about 19 miles per gallon in the city, 25 on the highway, and a combined rating about 21. That's not too bad either. I've seen some people getting the high 20s, like around 25 or 26 miles per gallon on the highway. So that's just like that's like the medium range of numbers that you should get. Anyways, let's hear how this thing sounds. So I think it sounds pretty good, but it doesn't let you rev it out that much when it's just sitting here. But let's take this thing out for a test drive and see how it does. Right now we're behind the wheel of the Stinger GT. My first impressions, this steering is really good. Sorry if the camera's shaking, I'm just on a crappy camera mount, but the steering of this thing is really good. Just like maneuvering in parking lots. It's not too tight that you're like overwhelmed on how it feels, but feels really nice around parking lots and stuff like that. So I think we're gonna have some fun today. Ooh! Oh! And that's in comfort mode. Oh my goodness! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! That was just 0 to 40. Oh my god! Oh my goodness. So acceleration on this car is very nice. Really good. Throttle response is really good, especially in sport mode. And there's just so much power everywhere. It's really good. Just put myself into eco mode. You don't even feel like you're driving anywhere. You're just putting along at 45 miles an hour at 1200 RPM. This thing definitely will put a smile on your face, even if you're just test driving it. Oh my god. Great. Just great. Like, if this is your daily driver, you're gonna have a lot of fun, but be careful for speed cameras and tickets. Just don't. But I like that on the center display, it actually shows the speed limit. It also shows that on the heads-up display as well. So that's nice. Let's do a little pull right here. Oh my god! Like, if I put myself into eco mode, turning radius really tight actually, especially for an all-wheel drive car. It's really good. But even in eco mode, this thing pulls really hard. So this car does have auto start stop, but it's sort of weird. So I turned it off personally, but I don't think it would save that much gas. So that's why I turned it off, because I don't think I'd actually need it. It's sort of a weird thing to get used to. It turns on pretty quickly actually. So the drive modes actually do something. You actually feel the difference in the steering. In comfort mode, it's nice and smooth and soft. When you put it in sport, it immediately firms up. So does the suspension. It immediately firms up, and you definitely do feel a big difference. Let's get onto the highway. And we're coming onto this on-ramp, 40 miles an hour. Oof. The steering, it's so direct and tight. I'm on some sort of broken pavement. It's really good. Just, it doesn't roll. There's barely any body roll. There's nothing. It's so good on the corners. Oh my goodness. Of course, it's not the silkiest of rides because this is a sports sedan, or a sporty sedan. The lane departure warning actually works pretty well, but the ride is actually pretty good. On smooth pavement or just regular pavement, like I'm on the highway right now, I'm actually pretty comfortable. No complaints really. On broken pavement, it could be a little bit choppy, but not too uncomfortable that you have a problem with the car. Like, I don't think it would be a deal breaker for me. Brakes feel really good. Coming to, stop signs or just in corners feels really nice. Turning radius on this car is really good too.
North Frederick Avenue.
That was a railroad crossing. Still, car feels really solid. I don't have it. I mean,
North Frederick Avenue.
I've said that a lot already, but I really don't have any complaints on the ride or anything about this car. I think that Kia I almost said Honda. I think that Kia did a really good job. So talking about pricing for the Stinger, for the 2-liter turbo that comes with 255 horsepower, the 8-speed automatic, and either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, the base for that is $31,900. Then the premium model for that is $37,100. Then for the 3.3 turbo, like the one that we have, starts at the GT, which is $38,350, the GT1, which is $43,250, and the GT2, like my tester, which is $49,200. Now about competition, that would be the likes of the BMW 3 Series, the Mercedes C-Class, Acura TLX, the Infiniti Q50, and the Lexus IS350, and other compact or mid-sized luxury sports sedans in that segment. Hopefully you've made it to the end of the video, but if you have, thank you so much for watching this video. Special shout out to Herson's Kia, like I said before, for letting me come film this car, and let me know what other cars you want me to film in the future, and I'll see to do my best. I'll try to do my best to do those videos, and I hope you guys stick around, so subscribe, like, dislike if you don't like it. Let me know what I could do to make my videos better, either production wise or just me talking, because I know there's a lot of words that I repeat and stuff like that. Hope you guys have a good day and peace.